Gary, harsh or fair?
No, I think the result's harsh. I think the first half performance was really good. We created 2 or 3 really good chances that need to go in when you're on top in a game with a team that's got such a good home record. And whenever it's came back to haunt us, because at the end of the day, we always expected Morton to pick it up a bit in the second half. I think they were just a bit rusty for not playing for a couple of weeks. We knew that maybe 60, 70 minutes, 75, especially lads that have played the 390 minutes or 290 minutes and up to that stage, 75 would maybe tire. But because of our inability to defend a simple situation, Morton have scored another terrible goal from our point of view, and it's cost us getting a point.
How many times have we said that this
season?
And
listen, it's watching back the highlights before I came into the job. It's been a constant feature all season, and I need to try and do something about it. We work hard in the training ground at that, and we work really, really hard on our defensive shape. But whether it's an individual or the defensive unit, we just keep making mistakes, and it can't continue. The last 3 games that we've lost, Hibs, Dundee United, and today, Falkirk, I can accept Falkirk were a better team. We shouldn't have lost any of those games, but because if you think of the goal we gave against the Hibs, we switched off at a corner. The 2, especially the first 2 goals against Dundee United, they were we caused our own problems, and in that today, no defending properly. So there's got to be a line where it has to stop, and if the individuals can't stop, then they can't play. It's as simple as that.
Are you getting to the stage where you're able to identify the
yeah, I need to. There's. I know what the problem is, but I can't fix it just now. Apart from trying to work hard on the training ground, and that's what we do. It'll be drills that aren't particularly enjoyable for the players, but we're going to have to get back to working defensively because, you never write anything off. But it now looks as though it's got to be nearly impossible for us to get into the top 4. And it shouldn't have been the case after that first half performance. I said to the players at half time, make sure we don't come in here with anything less than a point, because the first half deserved that. And listen, see in the second half, I'm not angry with the effort or the commitment or anything like that. I'm angry about how we defend as a team when a team puts us under pressure. That's what I'm angry about. What the lads gave me tonight was different class from the back of a really, really heavy pitch on Tuesday. There was no problem with their fitness, no problem with their effort, no problem with their commitment. But our inability to defend, again, has cost us.
You said there as well, it's almost impossible now to get that top 4. This was a big, definitive week.
Yeah, and listen, we needed to be getting 5 or 6 points, and we haven't done that. So, we knew that as a group that we were going to have to pick up the majority of the points, and we haven't done it. So, for us, me and Dougie, we have to have a chat over the weekend, and we have to think about what we do now for the remaining games in the season.
Still a lot to play for, though, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, we want to finish up the higher up the league as we can, but and we'll try and do that. We're never going to go into a game not to win anything of that. But it may be that maybe not in the next couple of games, but if it gets to a stage where there's 4 or 5 games where we don't seem to be able to go up or down, that maybe we have to give some of the younger lads a chance and to see if they've got what it takes for next season.
Football is all about fine lines, and tonight was an example of that, wasn't it?
Yeah, as I say, on the second half performance, they were the better team and we were the better team in the first half. Was there a lot of goalmouth action? No, not really. I think we had 2 or 3 in the first half, and they've had 2 or 3 in the second half. And listen, as the game goes on, we have to put a lot of players forward. We made triple substitution, went with 2 wide players, 2 up front. We knew that Morton are a good team. They're going to get into gaps and cause you problems, and that's what happened in the last 25 minutes. But we were trying to chase the game to get back into it, because we knew whether you lose 1-0 or 4-0, it was irrelevant. We had to try and get at least a point for that game tonight, and we never got it. And as I say, the action that the players, but I'm really, really disappointed in how we're conceding goals when teams are on top of us.
8 games to go, so is the focus still the same? You just have to pick
get as many points as possible. That's it. Get as many points as possible and try and finish 5th. If we can't get in the playoffs, you need to try and finish 5th. We need to keep our eye on our shoulder. The teams are below us. Any of them put on a run, they maybe be targeting us. We need to watch that we get enough points that we don't get sucked into that. So there's plenty for us to play for. There's a lot of players at the club still out of contract in the summer. They've got to show that they deserve to be here. So for the players' point of view, there's things to play for. For me as a manager, I want to finish as high up the league as possible. When I came in, I wanted to get in the playoffs. There's a small chance that we can do that now. It's very unrealistic, so I want to make sure if we can get in there that we finish 5th. So there'll be no let up for me and Dougie. There'll be no let up on the training field. You know, the players will continue to work hard. It's not like we've just got to coast in for the next 6 or 7 games. That won't happen. But you know, you've got to be realistic and say that at this moment in time, the 8 games that we've got to play are unless we win about 7 of them, you're probably not going to get into the playoffs.
Talking there about you don't want to be sucked in to down the bottom at St Mirren, so you want to be next, so you want to be starting to put a distance.
Yeah, we need to get back to winning ways. You know, it's in terms of results, we've only had 1 decent result out of the last 3 games. In terms of performances, we've had 2. So if you have 2 good performances, you should have 2 good results. But that's not happening with us. When we're playing well against teams, we're still getting beat. And then when you have your off game like Falkirk, that's fine. You know, you deserve to get beat. You hold your hands up and say, look, this is what we need to do better. We played well against Dundee United in today, and we shouldn't be getting beaten in those games, but we are. And it's as I say, it's a problem that I think, looking back at all the video footage as well, that we don't defend well enough as individuals, or as units, as the back 4, as the midfield, even as the strikers. You know, I'm not just blaming certain players. That has cost us, because if you look at the league table, the goals that we've scored is maybe the top 3 or 4. The goals that we've conceded is the 3rd or 4th worst, and you can't concede that amount of goals if you want to be a successful team.